Are you recording?
I've been recording.
Oh, okay.
Would like to introduce yourself?
Am I looking at you or looking right into the camera?
I am right in front of the camera. So.
Okay. Does it look like I'm looking at you and in the camera when I look at you and talk
I'm
to
right
you?
in front of the camera,
Okay.
so it's the same thing.
All right. I'm ready.
Who are you? Oh God.
Who am I? Okay, I was born Misty Felicia Tyson. That is my name. I am currently Misty Shulam Sabian. I was born in Anchorage, Alaska. I was there until I was about 5 years old, I think 5 or 6. And then we moved to Las Vegas and we were there for a little while and then, then what happened? Well, my parents split up. It was pretty tough. You know, my mom was a single mom. She had 3 kids. It wasn't the easiest. I mean, I don't think divorce is ever easy, on the kids or the parents or I think out of all, I had a brother and sister, and of all the kids, I think I took it the hardest. I hated having to choose, which parent I wanted to be staying with, because our parents let us decide, which was just horrible for me.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Oh, it was so awful. I always felt guilty. I felt like someone didn't think I loved them as much. So yeah, the divorce, it was hard, but most of the time, I had my siblings, my sister and stuff. So, it was good. Like I said, there's things I would have changed. But overall it was okay. Had problems with the back of his hair. He'd actually burnt it off. Yeah. And that's me at Easter. I couldn't get my Easter basket open, and you can see the anxiety in my face. I could not get that shit off of the top of there. Was not having it.
That's pretty funny.
And this is, I guess this is kind of like my dad. And you can see this picture too. There's a picture, it looks like of a lady in a bikini.
Oh yeah, that's exactly
It's
what that is.
Lonnie Anderson, and we have a rifle here right next to the side, which I'm sure probably didn't have a safety on it. Oh, and we can't forget this, an ashtray with cigarettes in the bed. I don't know how something didn't happen to us. I don't know. I guess it was just how it was back then,
Yes, I see.
Tell me more. I was gonna go to a travel agency flight attendant school, and I wrote a check for $50 for the enrollment, but I couldn't. I didn't have the money, so I asked if I could post date it, and she said that I could, and then she cashed the check anyways. And so I was super angry, so I said, give me my money back, I'm not going to your school. And then my mom was like, well, why don't you just join the military instead? And I'm just like, okay. And literally got in contact with a recruiter, and the rest is history.
Nice.
So that's how I joined it. I mean, when I first got there, I'm like, oh, this isn't going to be so bad. The boots kind of bugged my feet a little bit, but I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I got to basic training, and the drill sergeant started screaming at me, and I was just like, uh-oh, what did I do?
Was like the stuff you see on TV?
Oh, but worse. But worse.
Really?
I'm not kidding. I remember it was like the end of fall, right before winter in Missouri. Was that? Yeah, Missouri. And it was really dry out, and literally they took all of our duffel bag stuff and they dumped it out in the dirt. And they're like, pick it up! And I'm like, so I start picking it up, and they're like, put it down! And then they're like, roll! I'm like, what? And they're like, roll in the ground! And then I started rolling around in the ground in the dirt. It was so bizarre. It's like, which do you want me to do? Do you want me to pick it up or not? They're like, now pick it up! Get back down! It was something else. But what it taught me at that young of an age, at 18, it has stayed with me like my entire, life. And, there's things that I still, try to live by and, so no, I'm just so grateful for that when I went through. It was daunting, but at the same time, I liked it. Like, it was hard, but I like things that just really
like challenge you.
Oh my God, that challenged me. And like, I like things, if it's a feeling, it like makes me want to like run to my mommy. You know what I mean? When I say mommy, because it's like, you feel like that little kid that's like, oh, help me, I kind of like getting to that point and then just seeing if I can fight my way through it,
Sense of trend.
It is a trend. It is. Oh, this picture got us in big trouble.
What is happening here?
So she's holding paraphernalia, which is booze.
Alcohol.
So we're in a bathroom and,
you guys weren't 21 yet either.
We weren't 21 yet, so we were in a bathroom goofing off and we'd taken these pictures because everybody was drunk. We'd come back from like a weekend thing. Everybody was drunk in the bathroom. Diane had her rollers on. And then somebody left this picture out and a drill sergeant found it.
Oh, no.
And I remember they came into our barracks and they were asking us questions and we're like, no, like we would never do that. No, we'd never have alcohol in the bathroom. And then they were like, wah! We were like, oh, okay. We all just got down and started doing push-ups. We're like, all right, it's coming. Okay.
How'd you meet my dad?
Oh, how did I meet your dad? So I met your dad in the service. Let me see if I can tell you about the day I met your dad. Don't remember the day.
Perfect.
No, but he was like the cool looking guy. He was like blonde hair. He had his tongue pierced. I'm like, ooh, he's so edgy. But he had tattoos. He was like a little loud.
I saw the pictures. He was a good looking guy.
Oh, he was a stunning looking fella back in the day. I can't say that now though. But
he looks like a Duck Dynasty character now.
Yeah, he was a looker back in the day, and he was a fun guy. He liked to have fun, and I was young and I liked to have fun too. So so I met him, but we were in the same company. My first duty station that I was at, he was stationed there. When did I leave the Army? So after I had you, you were...
So you had me while you were in the Army?
No, I got pregnant with you when I was in the service. Your dad was over in Kosovo. And actually, I was supposed to be going to Albania. Your dad was going to Kosovo. We met like ships in the night before he was supposed to leave and I was supposed to leave. And then you were conceived. You were conceived on Thanksgiving night, just so you know.
Oh, wow.
So
I feel
so you were conceived on Thanksgiving night.
I feel thankful.
And his mom was in town too. Weird. Anyways.
What the heck?
So he left, literally the next day he left for Kosovo.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting to go to Albania, but the orders, they canceled the mission. I didn't go. A few weeks later, I was, probably like 3 weeks later, I wasn't feeling so great and knew something was up and I found out I was pregnant with you. I stayed in the service until I was about 7 months with you, and then I got out. We were both in the service, and so I didn't want to, like if we both deployed, I'd have to send you somewhere, and I didn't want that, so I got out when I was like 7 months pregnant with you, and that's when I left the service. When did I know it was over? I'm going to ask myself a question. I knew it was over with your father after I gave birth to you. I had you in Germany, and they kept me in the hospital for like 5 days. On the second night, he was at the club, and I knew that it was over. It was only a matter of time, and I remember just holding you in my arms, and I remember just looking at you, and it was weird. It's just like you just gave me so much strength that like I didn't know that I could even, tap into anything that feels like that, like that protecting something, and it's not about you anymore. You were protecting this little person. And so, I knew it was over, but I knew that, I was holding something that would just give me so much strength to do it. And I always thought he would like help, I thought he would like be in the picture.
You would think.
You would think.
You would think.
But you know what? I don't, I can't speak for him, I don't know what was going on in his head.
Yeah.
I really don't. Your dad always had kind of like that poker face thing going, and I never really knew like truly how he felt about things. You know?
I inherited that poker face.
Yes, it's a poker face.
That's why I smile all the time.
Yeah.
To my.
Yeah, just like that. This visit was literally when we decided we're gonna get divorced.
Oh wow, great.
I mean, seriously. Oh. See, look, you were giving me that face even back then.
Oh, I was.
I told you. I've always had that face. But it was definitely after I, broke up with your dad, where I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this for us, and I'm going to show him how it's done. And that's what I told myself. I really did.
I think you did a pretty good job.
Thanks, Corbin.
Who is that?
Oh, so this was a guy that I dated in the military named Jeff Oram. I don't remember who this is, though.
Also, that wasn't my dad.
No, that wasn't your dad. That wasn't your dad. When you say it like that, it sounds like I was some tramp, and you're like...
Well, no, it's more,
my
I
dad?
just don't know what he looks
Is
like,
that
so I don't know.
Oh, this is a fun picture. So I moved back to America.
How was that?
It was good. I was happy to be back. I'll say that much. I was happy to be back and, around my family. I really missed them. And I thought, I wanted you to be around your cousins and stuff. So I was just so happy to be back. Okay, so this is how I got into bartending. I was working the hourly job. I was making just enough. I was maxing out credit cards. Like, I was having a really hard time financially. I was just like drowning. Like, it was depressing. And so I'm like, okay, I have to do something else on top of the doctor's office. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can bartend. And I'd never really bartended before. I'd bartended for like 2 seconds at like this other restaurant, but it was like, it wasn't really anything. And so back then you'd look in the classifieds in the newspaper and this place called Devil's Martini was looking for bartenders, and I showed up and I'm just like, hey, I want to bartend, and yeah, and I was like finding change from the couch to put gas in my car to go and do this interview at this place, because it was like an open interview from like 3 to like 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I put like $8 and something cents in the car, and then I was able to get to Scottsdale. Like, I was so broke.
Me. I don't think I played softball, I think. I don't think I played a lick of baseball.
No.
What is this?
You were always going to be in a nice place, you know what I mean? Like, you always had food to eat.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like stress. Like, I could never save any money,
Yeah.
And you were such a good kid. Like, it was never an issue of, like, I didn't have an issue with you. Like, I just wanted to give you more, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, like I said, you were always that inspiration of just like, oh, I gotta figure this out,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. I was just obsessed with your behind.
It's awesome.
I fed you way too much, so you had
I look like the Michelin Man.
cellulite all on your butt.
Why would you do that to me?
But you like to go naked, though.
I'm not zooming in. I'm not zooming in on
Okay,
that.
fine. I think that's the one thing that like really saved me is because there was always like a lot of drinking going on. There was drugs going on. But I couldn't do any of it because I had to go and get my son.
You didn't even do like a snitch?
Oh, none. Like, I never did drugs at that place. You know, every now and then, okay, maybe have like a drink or something, but I couldn't. And also when I would drink, I couldn't bartend as fast, and I was fast.
What about when I would go away for the summer?
Sometimes. I would definitely, when you went away for the summer, Corbin, I would drink. It would only last for, like, I would say, the first couple weeks when you would go see, you know, Auntie.
My cousins.
Auntie and your cousins, I would just let it loose, but it didn't last for too long because I'd start missing you and, you know, but no, I was really grateful for her that she would give me that time and because I needed it. You know, it wasn't easy. So this was when you were away in Arizona. And I had one too many drinks, actually. And this, actually, if I'm looking at this is a Denny's booth.
What?
I had drank too much, and I was trying to.
That's so funny.
I was trying to get back right by eating a 2-egg breakfast, you know, with like ham and bacon and stuff. When I would drink, I would go straight to Denny's afterwards.
So what made you move to LA?
Oh, so the reason why I moved to LA is because I wanted to pursue acting and modeling like full time. I was really afraid to do it because like my whole support system, you know, my family, my mom and my sister, you know, all in Arizona, your cousins were there. So I was really nervous to leave. And my mom just kept telling me, she's like, look, you can always come back. And that really helped me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. So yeah, acting and modeling got us to LA. Really good friend of mine, you know, got me a job bartending in California. And it's only because I was his friend, because I went to the interview and again, the guy's like, you really don't know a lot. I mean, I was so fast at bartending, but there was like, you know, like it was like fine dining stuff. And I just was like, I don't know. I didn't know a lot about wines. So, but again,
What was this Mastros?
Yeah, it was Mastros. But later on, he's like, you know, I hired you because you had a good attitude. But he's like, you knew absolutely nothing about fine dining. And I'm like, I know, right? So my really good friend got me the job there. And then my other good friend, Tim, you know, he told me about the place that was for rent. So, like I said, I had a great support group of friends and, you know.
That's great.
So that helped. And then, you know, I was kind of like, I started trying to do it like my own way. And this, you can kind of like just see in these pictures. And I think it's just really like, it's very telling. Just kind of like I'll just kind of like give you an example of like, you can really just kind of see in my eyes like where it started to turn a little bit. You know, it was like, it kind of started with this, you know?
You look so happy.
I know. And then it got like to this.
You look confused.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. I was having a moment. Well, my pursuit in acting, it was, I guess, I would say it was kind of like, it kind of competed a little bit with comedy. The main reason why I got into comedy is because someone told me that I could get out and get more auditions for acting if I did comedy too.
Oh, so that's how you transitioned.
And so that's why I got into comedy. I'm like, because, you know, I had my good friend Tim that was already out there acting. You know, he knew the biz, you know, he knew what was going on. He's like, yeah, you know, you need something that sets you apart and, you know, and they always bring you in when you have comedy. And I'm like, oh, great, I'll do comedy. I'm not kidding. I went to like the Barnes and Nobles. I got a book on comedy and and then I I submitted myself into this like comedy, the Arizona like comedy festival, and I think there had to be at least like 200 people there, and this was the first time I ever did comedy. I got up there. I was so horrible. Like everybody's face was like this. They were like, you know that face of like, oh my God, like stop. You know, like we're so petrified because you're so bad right now. We can't laugh. We don't want to give you eye contact. Everyone was just like, like that. And I remember it was so horrible. I was so bad. And then I got off the stage, and I think I maybe got like a half a laugh, like a I got like a in the back. And then I remember I got off the stage, I'm like, oh my God, like I was so horrible. And then I was like, I want to do it again. I must like it. I must like the torture, because yeah, I was just like, I want to do that again. Like that was so bad.
What is this? What's happening here?
Oh, so this is an improv troupe that I used to do in Tempe, Arizona. It was called Jesters, and I remember this was like the last class of the night and of the like series, and I remember I just had a really good night. I just did a lot of fun stuff. But this was a good time. I remember I was like doing all this stuff, and this girl was like, what is she doing? Make her stop.
What about Rob?
Oh, he was very, very fundamental. Very fundamental. But where he was trying to get me to go, I just wasn't ready to get there yet. You know, I just was like, I just had a lot of personal stuff, and I just put so much pressure on myself. And you know, like I said, everything that I would do, every stand-up, every show that I would do, I would put so much pressure on it, like, this has to be the one, you know, da-da-da-da, and it's just like, just so annoying.
What was
like,
that personal stuff?
Just the self-talk of, like, it's like this thing of, like, look at me, don't look at me, you know, and I always had this kind of, like, I want you to look at me and listen to what I'm saying, but don't look at me. You know what I mean? I want you to laugh, but it was just, it's almost like I would get a little scared of the audience sometimes, you know? I didn't want them to trip me up, and, you know, it's like, I just wanted to get through it and, like, do it, and, you know, type of thing. But that isn't what comedy is, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just missed out on like a lot of organic moments. I don't think, I mean, there's a very, very small percentage of people that can just get up on a stage and be funny and deliver this great performance without like doing any type of writing, you know, like you have to write, you have to, you know, practice, you know, do bits and stuff. But no, when I was like in that spot, that sweet spot, it's just like, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. This picture is just like, this sums up just how I feel about you. And what like my journey for motherhood was with you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like, oh, I was about to run a marathon. It was so cold, and I just hadn't gotten a lot of sleep, and I was so like, oh, there's all this stuff that was going on. I was so upset. And then I finally saw you out there, and I was just like, ah. You were always that for me, though. You know?
Aww.
You were always that for me. Raising you, it was... when I really think about it, it's like, and I've told you this, where it's just like, you just saved me on so many occasions, you know? There's just like, sometimes there's a lot of stuff that you can get into, and, no, I love you.
Continue.
You can just get into a lot of trouble, you know? And you always just saved me because I knew that, like, if I got sloppy, I knew it could literally be for only like 10 seconds and then that was it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I know I just I couldn't like let myself get into things that would like hurt me later. I couldn't, I couldn't get into like drugs. I couldn't get into heavy drinking or just other things that would, jeopardize you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I would look at you and I just like, oh God, I gotta do better. Like I need to do better, and you were just always that piece that, you made me feel like I can do this. We got this, we can do this, let's go, I just always felt stronger because I had you. And I think any parent would say that about their kid. It's like, kids just make you feel really strong. But you were just so easy to, parent. And you were just so like, you were just like so wonderful. And I know you could have been so much more challenging, but you weren't. And I'm grateful for that because I don't know if I would have been able to deal with it,
Yeah.
And so, where your dad had left, and I say this because I do believe it's true, where it's like, I feel like you came here for me, not for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like one of those things where I'm kind of grateful that it turned out like that, I had a tissue. I don't know where it went.
Yeah, I don't know where the tissues
Yeah.
are, so here.
Thank you.
Here, have this
Appreciate
paper
it.
towel.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I was just very, very fortunate that, we didn't have like any like major issues and, I mean, of course, yeah, are there some things I can change? Absolutely. But, you were a great kid and, all you did was just, you inspired me, and made me feel stronger and just made me want to do better. My nose gets so big when I cry. It gets big and red. Oh, dog. So this is when Diane came to town when we were in California and we drove to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to the Bellagio and we went to the buffet and we ate so much. And I remember she took a banana with her. I think that's her thing. She just like takes food with her whenever she like goes anywhere. But yeah, no, it was a good time.
You received a call from
Diane. And it was funny because like I had like kind of suffered a little bit of a nervous breakdown, when I was working there at CBS Outdoor. And so I was on disability for a while. Like I had to take some time off. And, my battle buddy, she had called me and she came out for a visit. And I'm just like, she was living in New York. I'm like, oh my God, it'd be so cool to live there. And when she left, it was like goodbye. And then a few weeks after that, she called me. And I said, you know what, I need to move to New York. And she's like, you should. She's like, why don't you come stay here? And then I remember that when she said that, it's like, yeah, why don't I? And I said, you know what, I'm going to get off the phone with you real quick. And I got off the phone with her, literally, and I thought about it. And then like everything lined up, you know what I mean? And then I said, I'm moving to New York. And that was it. The next day I called her and I told her, I said, hey, did you really mean that? Because if so, I'm going to come to New York. And that was all that it wrote. I'm noticing like a trend here where my mom's like, why did you go to the service? And I feel like when it's said in a moment of where, I don't know, I guess it has to be like the right moment. And then I like, someone will just say, well, why don't you do this? It's like, yeah, why don't I do that? And then I do it. So, I don't know. It's worked for me so far. Kinda, sorta. So we put all of our stuff in the U-Haul. I had a big garage sale. I sold like all my stuff, and we drove to New York. It was different than California. You know, again, New York is a different type of people. So I felt like the New York transition, it was just like a lot smoother. Felt like it was a lot smoother. I mean, it was hard to find a job when I first got there. You know, I found an agent when I got there, but I also found a guy eventually named Steven Rosenfeld, and that he was the guy that like really like helped me with my comedy and really turned it around, and really like got me to a place where like I didn't hate it anymore. It's interesting because I put away my comedy, I would say, you know, I probably put it away for good like a couple years after Max was born. And it was really hard. You know, I did get postpartum after him, and I just did not know how I was going to come back, you know, after that. And I will say it was different, like pursuing comedy when you have like your stakes are high, you have a little guy that you're, you know, you want to get things for and provide for, and you're doing it on your own. It's different than being married, you know, having a little baby. Like it's a different, it's just a different set of circumstances. So you see things a little differently. Mm-hmm. You know, the grind is different. It's totally different. So I hung up the microphone probably for good, like about a couple years after I had him. Honestly, I was just like done. I just wanted to do other things, and you know, I just was like ready to just let it go and just kind of let that ship sail. Because like I said, you know, there's other things I want to pursue, but I feel that I will come back to it. I will come back to it, you know? And that time, I don't think it's too far away, but I'll come back to it.